Welcome to RVing in New England, the nation's only forum that puts you on stage with some of the biggest names in the RV industry. And now your hosts, John DePietro and Bob Zagami.
Well, you don't look like John DePietro, but that's probably a good thing. Welcome to RVing in New England. Uncle Bernie, how are you?
I'm great. How you doing, Bob? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely fantastic. It's the rainy season in Florida. We've been in a massive drought. We are finally getting some of that wet stuff, and nobody's complaining.
So, yeah, we're getting a little bit of a tropical, not in the hot sort of way, but we've been raining probably 5 out of 7 days for the last 3 weeks. So it's been pretty soggy around here.
Yeah, well, we've been 90 degrees for the last 2 weeks, every day, sunny and dry. It's kind of nice, actually.
That's pretty nice.
We got a packed show tonight with Martin Niezen, the founder of GasStop, which is a phenomenal product. And as I said in the promo, every RV in this country should come off the production line with a GasStop on it. I don't care if it's a trailer or a $500,000 diesel pusher. This thing is fantastic. As you will see, we'll bring Martin up in a little while after we get some little house.
Where is John this week anyway? What's he up to?
John is in beautiful downtown Elkhart, Indiana for the power breakfast. He tough schedule. He got up at 2:00 yesterday morning, got to the airport he had a 5:00 flight, got out to Elkhart, had a couple of appointments, did a couple of videos. He sent me one video that we'll show afterwards. Then he's got up again early because the breakfast is at 6:30 and 12. It always amazes me. 1,200 people show up at 6:30 in the morning to have a free breakfast, and it's not bad. I mean, it's actually not bad. It's catered, and they do a nice job.
People, wow.
Yeah, at 6:30. I don't know another industry in this country where you could get 1,200 people in a room at 6:30 in the morning.
Go to show you, John will travel for a free breakfast.
That's right. That and maybe a free T-shirt or a jacket at one of the OEMs. He always comes back with some additions to his wardrobe. This weekend, and congratulations to Lee's Auto and RV Ranch. A lot of the stuff that I post, I have to find it on the dealer's site. Brian Lingenriel sent this over today and said, "Hey, don't forget me tonight." Wouldn't be surprised if he's in the audience here real soon. Starting tomorrow is their summer sales event, and they've got a year-round dealership. They sell motorhomes and trailers in the summer. Actually, they sell them all year round, but they sell boats, they sell power sports. They got a tremendous lineup of products. Then for next week, mark your calendar. Open house down at Hemlock Hill, and this is their second open house after the shows because they want to show off the new building. They got moved everybody into a brand new building. It's beautiful. And
new service facility, right?
Huh?
Was it a new service facility?
No, they put the whole dealership in it. They got service sales. They moved everything out of the other building. It's like triple the size of the other building that they had, which was large. So it's a great setup. And then our friends Seacoast RV they always do their open house around Mother's Day. When Linda and Mike owned the dealership, they used to do their open house on Mother's Day. Every year. And Kenny says no. He said, I think we'll let them have Mother's Day to the family. So they're doing it on the 17th and the 18th up in Saco, Maine.
Hey, we have an open house too with Campers in the Airstream of Southern New England this Saturday.
This Saturday?
Going to be there. Yeah, this Saturday, the 10th.
Nobody's told me. I haven't seen it on the internet.
I made all kinds of videos to announce it, and I don't know if they posted them yet or not.
Bernie, I want to earn my paycheck, Bernie. I'm out here plugging for these dealers. There's probably something on the site, so I'll post it when we get off.
No worries, buddy. No worries.
Before I have my second Jack Daniels, then I'll make sure. Toby is he's driving people crazy.
What is going on, Toby?
I was out today, and May said he was driving him crazy. He'll settle down.
He wants to wrestle you. So we got a lot of nice people watching the show already. We should mention some of those folks.
We do. Oh, Dante's here.
Yep.
He is back home.
Where's
Walter,
that, in Maine or?
Walter went the other way. He went back to Florida.
Yep. Glutton for punishment.
Oh,
That's me. Yeah.
you're putting it in yourself. Oh,
Yep.
Tony Barthel. All right, Tony. Thank you.
New Mexico. What a great place.
Walter, prediction for Central Florida is 7 inches of rain next week. You are correct, sir. We got a little bit of it. You have a little bit today, and we can use all 7 inches.
Doing the backstroke.
Yeah. Brian Nystrom from Nashville also, and Tony.
Hey, neighbor. How you doing?
Neighbor? Got a neighbor?
Yeah, well, he's from Nashville as well.
Oh, so they have a big screen set up in the backyard, and all the neighbors came over for popcorn and hot dogs on the grill, or what?
There you go. That's a good idea, Brian.
All right. So Tony says we were in Colorado until this morning. There was snow in Pagosa Springs. Ah, wow. Yeah, Bernie, why don't you? I would be glad to do it, but I want you to earn your money. Why don't you? Why don't you introduce our guest tonight?
All right. So today we have the pleasure of speaking with Martin Niezen. He is the founder and CEO at GasStop, and it's all the way from the Netherlands. He is up at 1:10 in the morning just to hang out with us. Everybody, Martin Niezen.
Hi there.
Right.
Welcome.
Straight from the Netherlands, which
And
is one of the countries that I haven't been to. And I've been around a lot, but that one I just haven't got to. But
thank you for having me,
Martin. You are welcome anytime. Yeah, glad to have you here. And tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm sure you didn't just wake up one day and figure out the gas thing. So you probably are an engineer or something else. But tell the folks who you are.
Yeah, so I'm Martin Niezen. I'm from the Netherlands. I'm actually from a commercial family. My family had businesses and grew up in that environment, and went to school. I didn't like school, and when I had the chance, I went into the army and joined the Royal Netherlands Marine Corps. Did that for several years, and started my career after that. And I met my business partner, Matt Howie. He is from England, and he was doing a lot of crazy work with inventing this whole thing called GasStop. And I met him in Spain on a holiday. We went off building it in the Netherlands, and went to Germany, went to Sweden, went to England, and then, like 5 years ago, we thought, let's bring this to America. So that was a beautiful, beautiful couple of years to develop GasStop even more and even better. We have several products, and we're doing this now for a decade.
Yeah, I think that I met you the first year at the Tampa Super Show. And
I will never forget, because if you are, for a European person, it's more like a big dream to go to America, and it's like your country is so huge, and to actually, where do you start? And if you meet people like you that take you seriously, and you can go back to when you have questions, and they have serious answers. And I have a couple of people that, and you're one of them, Bob, that actually treated me well, and that's why we are still there. That's one of the reasons.
Well, sometimes the best products in our industry are the ones that get the least amount of attention. And whether it's distribution or people, and there is an issue, and I talk about this a lot with the owners of these companies, that they will not put a lot of these types of accessories on their vehicles, whether it be, and Walter Swenson will jump in, he's been there too, and Bernie knows, if it adds cost to the product, then they're not going to do it, especially if it's a product that the customer can get in the aftermarket. And you and I have worked on some of our dealers here, and even the dealers are slow to pick it up. I'd have that baby. I was joking with Bernie the other day, is I'd have a package of them next to the service writer when they're there. I'd have one in the customer lounge so they can look and test it. It's just one of those things. But you have slowly, and you haven't got frustrated. but you've slowly built that business.
Yeah, it's quite interesting that in Europe we have so many different rules. So when I started in this business, I wanted to learn more about gas and gas safety. So what I actually did, I stepped into in a Dutch standardization commission to learn about RVs. We call them like caravans and motorhomes.
Yep.
And I was in a great environment, and there were like people going on a retirement, and they seriously helped me the first 2 years very strongly, and that was very helpful. And I learned a lot about it and learned about the rules, because in Europe every country has a commission like this. They come together, and together they go to the European Standard Commission and make rules. So after 2 years, 3 years, I went to this European Standard Commission, and I represented my country in the European Standard Commission for 5 years. And that was the knowledge is coming from, and that's so helpful, me being now in America, because if you want to drive an RV with an open gas cylinder, I'm not advising you to drive with an open cylinder, but if you want to drive with an open cylinder, or you forget, in Europe, you need a GasStop, you need an excess flow valve, or you need a crash sensor. If you have one of them, better is both, because that's the most safest combination. If you have one of them, you are allowed with a motorhome to drive with an open gas cylinder. If you have a caravan, you are not allowed at all. It may not be attached, the whole system. So, and going to America was actually me discovering all these, like, in my eyes, crazy things, like what you have on the road, like flexible propane hoses hanging around the vehicles, and electric and gas in the same compartments. And I can mention a whole list of things that can be improved, and I'm here to help.
Well, it's an issue, especially the way some of the piping is laid out, or the inexpensive stuff that they use. And when you get a blowout, people think, oh, it's a tire. No, you get a blowout on an RV, even on a caravan, it could rip that hose right in half, besides take out your fenders and what have you.
Right.
So let me go back up here for a minute and let's see what the guys are saying. Bernie, is that your rig you were sitting in? Not quite, Dante. Not quite.
No, not quite. No.
Bernie,
haven't learned that yet.
You just came back from the Tiffin dealer event in Nashville.
Yeah, that was last week.
That's an interesting piece of news that just came out today. Yesterday, it surprised me. But Jayco is turning over the Integra diesel pusher line, and on January 1st, it's going to transfer down to Red Bay, Alabama, and it's going to be manufactured by Tiffin. And they probably will integrate it into the Tiffin product line. Now, the Class A's, B's.
Oh, my God. That is a revelation for big. That is a big one.
I almost fell out of my chair when I read it yesterday. The Class B, Class C, and the Gas A coaches, they're going to stay with Jayco, and they may keep the same name.
Okay.
Tony says, we love GasStop. It's on our trailer right now. Tony loves GasStop and microbreweries.
Yes.
You left it.
Like any kind of place to stop.
I want to raise my hand. Hello, Tony. I love you guys. Yeah.
You can do that. Jim,
they are awesome.
I'm late listening from the road. Well, at least you're listening from the road. Jim owns Silver Moose Restorations up in Maine, in the woods of Maine, and he's the best restoration specialist in the country on vintage Airstreams. He'll do regular ones if somebody's got a problem and has to help them out, but they do absolutely amazing work.
Yeah,
Jim needs to see this one.
Martin, yeah, what do you got there? Why is that important?
So, if you have an Airstream, we have folks from Airstream that are using the GasStop, and if you let me take it. If you use the GasStop, you make a certain extension, right? And if you have the covers in the Airstream, there is a tight space. So what we invented, especially it started with the Airstream, is a 90-degree hose. So if you attach this to each other, it's a perfect fit for an Airstream situation. What we never thought of is actually we invented this. It's patented.
I remember you showed me the first one, right?
Yeah. So you don't need to bend the hose so much. So it's a longer lifespan as well. Amazing hoses. We are sold out at the moment. We didn't expect the huge like demand, but there are new ones coming, of course, quickly.
Interesting. So Walter says we installed GasStop on our fifth wheel. Many years ago, we had a regular freeze and dump. They had two 30-pound tanks of propane and had to dump it into the atmosphere.
Oh, no.
Now, Jim says we recommend GasStop and have it on our Airstream. See?
It's another bright man. You can see how well educated all these RVers are that watch this show. It's amazing.
Well, I think it's because John's not here. See, when John's here,
the IQ kind of bumps up a little bit.
Right. We have Martin, we have you, and all of a sudden the audience is elevated.
So would it be okay to show Martin my video I made today? It's like it's a short version. There's some of it's cut out, but I hope you feel like I did a halfway decent job, Martin. You want to put that up for us?
Let's see, and then we'll take a vote.
Yeah. Well, hey, everybody. You're probably wondering why I'm dressed like the Great Pumpkin. And to tell you the truth, I really don't know, but it does match my jack blocks. So that's a good thing, right? Today, we actually have a very important thing to be learning about. And we're going to be talking about the GasStop products that we have installed on this camper. I'm going to show you how to install them real quick and show you the benefits of those. So there's a lot of great features on this little device, and I think you really should think about getting it for your camper. This is the GasStop device that we're going to be connecting to my RV this morning. And just so you know, it just connects right here, right onto your propane bottle. And the connection from the hose that comes into the camper connects right here. In the middle here is a pressure gauge. All right, so it basically shows low, we have propane, and high. So if it's high, you want to get these bottles out of the sun. You want to make sure that they stay relatively cool, cover them or put them in a cool spot. And then you have gas. That means the gas is flowing, and that means there's actually some liquid propane in the tank to create that pressure. When the liquid propane runs out, then you will see that go into the low range, and at that point you only have a couple of minutes before it's time to change a bottle. So what we're doing here is installing this GasStop device. It's really easy, and that's GasStop, and you can find that at GasStopUSA.com. All right, it's a real nice product. I'm going to move this camera right over here a little bit closer in. So we have the two tanks over here. One of them's partially connected, one of them is not. We are going to just screw this on. Hold it straight. Make sure that that you don't strip the threads. This is very important when you're working with an RV, because sometimes these lines, they get a little kinked or cracked, or they might get hit with some debris along the way. When you're traveling, there could be a propane hose underneath the camper, and this is very important. And the way to test your propane system is actually quite simple. All right, first of all, we're going to turn the gas off. I have the lever set to one direction, just the way you ought to do it, so it uses one bottle before the other. And we're going to open this up. All right, and we're going to open this up. And I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm going to move the camera just a little closer. The gauges have not moved yet, all right? So you want to see that the gauge has not moved yet because there's no actual gas flow. And so I'm going to back that up just a little bit so you can see a little action shot here. I'm going to push the top of this gauge 3 times, and this is going to actually knock that ball bearing down into the gas flow area to allow the gas to flow through out towards the camper, all right? Ready? 1, 2, 3. So I click it 3 times. You can see that it's right in the middle of the green right there, which is good. Now, if you want to check the pressure and make sure that it's not leaking anywhere, you actually shut this off. All right, you shut that off. And it's holding pressure. You can see that it's holding pressure here, right? And what you want to do is wait about a half hour and come back to it. Okay, now it's been about a half hour. We're going to take a good look at this. Let's take a look. I'm going to bring it in nice and close, and we can take a look at these valves, because this is the telltale sign, right? And if you look over here, it was just about in the middle. It's actually gone up a little bit, maybe because the cover is off. But the great news is I don't have an internal leak. All right, so I've shut the propane system. So now the propane is from here, just this point, out to the camper. And that means that there's no leaks within the camper itself. Now this one, this valve is shut off, so the gas is only going from here to here. But we know already that the gas is going up into the camper, and it's fully pressurized all the way. And this one has not dropped a smidge either, so that's really good news. And that means I don't have any gas leaks.
That was a good video, Bernie.
Very, very well done.
Yeah.
All right. And you can see the longer version some other time, but that was a quick version where it's several cuts in it. Yeah.
So Martin, you've got a chart on your website, which I think is very helpful to people that might go to the website and see why they should buy a GasStop, why they should investigate. Why don't you walk us through this and tell us why this is important and what role they play?
Yeah, so first of all, the most important thing of the GasStop is 100% shut off. So if we talk about a major leak, so a major leak is a leak that is more than normal usage, then it will shut off instantly and for 100%. So you are totally safe. If you have a hose, a gas hose, there is an excess flow valve in your hose, but it's not shutting off 100%. So you always will have a leak. And with the GasStop, it's 100% shut off. The GasStop goes onto the cylinder, so straight on the source, and protects your high pressure side. So that would be the propane hose, the regulator, and the low pressure side. So also after the regulator. So that's the 100% emergency shut off. Then you have this minor leak tester. We saw that in the video, very well made, because it's very important you close the appliance and then you do the minor leak test, what we just have seen. And it's very important because you should put a minor leak test on your checklist when you arrive at your new destinations after a hobbly road, traveling for miles. You do a minor leak test, and you are. It's a great peace of mind to know that you don't have minor leaks. Even the most tiniest leak, even a pinhole, you will pick up on. Just do it. Open the cylinder like shown in the video, and prime the gates like several times, and close the cylinder again. You just do your stuff. Come back after 10, 15, 20 minutes, and you just see the needle. If it's still there, you're good to go. You know that you're safe and you can enjoy your free time. It's quality approved. We, of course, it's went to the UL. It's the standard, I think, in the USA. It took us like 1.5 years to get approved. It's like a huge study. We also test the device ourselves, and there is a Swiss company coming to the factory, and they test independently. And when the products are tested, we test every single device, and that's the reason why underneath the product there is a QR code, an individually code that's actually proving that we test every single device. So we know 100% sure that we send out good products into the market. And that's also the reason why we give a 5-year full warranty. Another thing is the useful gas pressure indicator. And that was well said in the video we just saw, because a lot of products out there look like a GasStop, and those are also pressure indicators. You cannot measure how much gas is in your cylinder. You can see on the gauge what pressure you have, and the pressure is changing. Temperature, there are a lot of different reasons why the pressure can change. The thing is, as long as you have liquid in the cylinder, you will see the needle in the green, and as soon as it goes into the red, the liquid is gone and you have the last 20-30 minutes. The beauty of the gauge is actually that you can visually see. You go to the gauge and you see what is going on. So it's a very useful gauge to actually see what is going on. You are completely in control. If you have had a shut off, so you had a leak, you don't have gas anymore because the GasStop shuts off, but you also can actually see it. and you can see the pressure. It's a very easy to install device, just shown on the video. I think everybody can do it. If you can put a normal hose on the cylinder, you can install the GasStop. And what I just said, we have a 5-year warranty, and that's exceptional.
If you don't mind, Bob, I'm going to jump in there. First of all, it's an amazing product. And one thing I was wondering, what's the average propane pressure in a United States tank on one of those 20-pounders? It's probably like 30 pounds or so. It's not too much, right? That when you typically are regulating that gas flow.
Are you thinking about the typical propane tank like that?
Yeah, like that. Yeah, Martin, because I'll tell you, I was looking at the side of that GasStop, and it shows that it was, it's rated for 250 pounds per square inch. So that is far, supersedes anything that is going to come out of a propane tank.
Yeah, so I need to apologize, because in my brain now is like we have different measurements, right? So
right.
So the UL is actually saying to us it needs to go to a certain bar, and we test the device 10 times more. So
10 times more.
It's robust, but we just want to make absolutely sure that things are made well.
So the most you're going to get out of a propane tank in our language probably means about 25 pounds per square inch of PSI. And then it's rated at 250 PSI.
Yeah.
That is absolutely amazing.
So about 10 times. Now we've shown that, I don't want to call it a portable one, but one that's not in line, but explain how you do it when you're working with OEMs and the importance of, why they should be buying them and put them on the tanks.
Yeah, Brian from Nashville was asking about that. That's good.
Yeah. So it's I say this quite often when I go to a show. I ask people, do you drive a car? Do you have a car? And people say yes. And then I ask them, do you have an airbag in your car? And people say yes. And then have you ever used your airbag? And then people say, most of the people say no, I don't. But then I ask, are you happy that's in there? And then they all say yes, of course. And the thing is I'm not here to scare people, but things happen, and more often than you think. And because of the work we do in the commissions, we see all the bad accidents. And if you talk to one person that experienced a fire or a explosion or something, a danger with fire of propane, ask them if they would advise you to put a GasStop on there. And I totally get it. It's sexy to sell a television, and it's sexy to sell a fireplace. I all get it, and it sells nicely, right? But actually to put a safety device on there that can save lives, and also for manufacturers can save their brand, right? Because nobody wants a vehicle with your name on it seeing on fire on social media. And it's such a simple device, and it's in my eyes, but I'm the manufacturer. In my eyes, it's even a cheap device for saving a lot of misery.
Yep,
absolutely.
Keep the family safe. Absolutely. Now, we talked kind of around the motorhomes and the travel trailers, but you came out with a new product a few years ago. And when we talk about every RV manufacturer should put them on the product, what if every manufacturer of tanks put it on their products when you're barbecuing out in the backyard?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, because the difference between this one and the RV is the different like pressure. It's a different. It's the same device. It looks like the same, but in the inside is different. And the thing is, we see a lot of accidents with people that the most problems with barbecue grills is that they have old hoses, they have old regulators, and there is a little diaphragm, there's a little piece of rubber that can be damaged easily. And if you are barbecuing and there is like fat from the meat and there is and that's liquid, and you have just a tiny hole, like within seconds the hole becomes bigger and you have serious issues. And most of the times we are in short trousers and t-shirts and near to the fire when we are behind the grill. So it's a big thing as well. I must say that because we are like, there is so many demand coming from America, we are very focused on the RV market. And we talk to several big companies, grill companies, and we are developing that more and more. But the focus at the moment is seriously at the RV market, because that is such a huge market also, we
and there's a lot of older rigs on the road, to be honest with you, right? There's a lot of older RVs on the road. And in those hoses, like you say, some of them are exposed. They used to have the black pipes. Some of them literally, rust away. And those leaks can creep up on you when you don't even expect them. Can you tell us a little bit more about the actual mechanics of that device? Like when I was pushing that down, what was going on and what makes it stop when you do have catastrophic gas flow?
Yeah, so it's we have a beautiful video of it showing the inside of the device. But actually, if I show the GasStop here,
you want me to call up the video?
Yeah, if you can find it, then yeah, there's a little ball bearing here in the middle, and that's actually hovering on the flow rate. And as long as you have normal pressure and normal flow, then the ball bearing is hovering in the middle. And as soon as the flow goes faster than normal, it will pick up the ball and shuts the system. And there's a reason for it, because we didn't want to work with springs. We don't want to rely on a spring because metal springs get sticky, how do you say that?
Yeah.
And get old, and the springs don't work. And this is a big issue in propane hoses. They don't shut off 100%, but they also don't shut off at all. So the little ball bearing in the device, it looks like a simple device, but inside here is very complex. Will be picked up by the flow if you have major leak, and it will shut off.
Did you see any of that video?
No, I haven't seen any of it yet. You have to. You might have to unshare the first one, and then you can share the second one.
Yeah, it's not showing up on my share. All right, I don't want to.
If people want to see it, then they go to the social media. Go to my website and find how does it work, and you will see the inside and actually see what's going on.
The whole diagram and the flow. Yeah, for those that are technically, Walter's probably chomping at the bit saying, why can't Sagami make the YouTube go? But that didn't connect. But
it's actually a very old technique, the Bernoulli principle. Like an airplane, how does it fly in the air? And it always works because it will be picked up by the flow. So that's the beauty of it. It's old fashioned, but it always works. And mechanical, right?
Yeah, we like it when it's just it's a mechanic thing, and it's done through the flow. It's just amazing. Hey, can you put up Walter's last comment?
Yeah, we should go back. Give me a time.
Oh, okay. So I was going to have you do the last one. He had some other comments in there, but 734, just second to the last. Yeah. I was in kindergarten when a propane station blew up less than 0.2 miles from our house. One of the large propane tanks was found 2.7 miles away from the original explosion. That is like a rocket taking off.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the pressure after the regular for an RV is 0.4 psi, or 11 inches of water column.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, Walter's our technician, right?
He's our resident engineer, Martin.
That's awesome.
Do the quick research. So at 80 degrees Fahrenheit, the propane inside the tank is 145 psi. Tank pressure relief valve will open at 375 psi. and this is for a 20-pound grill type tank. Interesting.
Scary.
Yeah, Don he has one on his rig and one on the gas griddle also.
So you have Walter, and I have Matt, the English, my English business partner. He's like he knows all this stuff. I'm more on the sales side, and he's the technician. He's the
Well, you're the pretty face, and he's the brains, right?
Yeah. That's fantastic. We got a couple of other things. We got time, but I know you're approaching 2:00 over there, Martin. Anything else you might want to say to our fans before we let you go and do some other items here?
Yeah, so I would say to the people, GasStop is beautiful for having like a 24/7, 100% shot of safety. It's a great peace of mind. But the what people seriously like is to be able to do a minor leak test when they come to the new destination. So what I want my team to do is that teach the people, learn the people about how to do a minor leak test with the GasStop, because it's such a great peace of mind. And when you can discover a minor leak, you can do something about it. And that's awesome. And it's preventing so much seriously accident. So that's what I want to give. We have a perfect team behind us. We have a 5-year full warranty. So if something is going on, people don't like it, or people having questions, because we have people that the GasStop doesn't work and they forgot to read that you need to prime the gauge. We are there to help people out when you have questions. And the beautiful thing is, on our website, you can go to the FAQs, and if you read through the FAQs, you will be getting answers on like 90% of all the questions.
Interesting. Don says that we definitely recommend it down there in Texas at the National RV Training Academy.
Thank you.
Walter says the explosion was caused by a person smoking while they filled a motorhome tank.
Oh my gosh.
Well, no, the real question is, where the hell was the owner while this guy was smoking, filling his propane tank?
People smoked everywhere all the time back then.
Dante says RVTI, which is the RV Technical Institute, teaches you how to test the water column.
Yeah, of course, and we totally understand, but it's for a normal, how do you say that, average Joe, like a normal people that not goes out there full time, but just takes the RV for just a couple of weeks a year. It's so good to have that safety on there. A lot of people don't understand nothing about propane, right? And it's always, and for a lot of women, propane is scary. Propane is not scary, but you need to know how to deal with it, and you need to do checks. It's the same with surge protection, tire protection. Is very important. And if you have that sorted out, you have good material, and you do a test, you take some time, you can enjoy your well-deserved free time. And that's where RVing is all about, right?
Right. Tony wants to show you how smart he is. Maybe it was the owner smoking and filling his own tank. Tony,
probably. You never know. But Martin, you're
great,
a true
Tony.
Professional. You got an amazing product, amazing company. I love the fact that you do all that follow-up inspections that are happening on each and every one of your devices, and it gives us a peace of mind for people that are using that product. And boy, there's nothing more important than the safety and well-being of your family and loved ones. And this is a prime product to help you with that. Help people with that for sure.
Protect, prevent, and enjoy. Martin, thank you very much for joining us tonight. You're always welcome, and maybe we'll catch up to you at the next Tampa. Are you coming over for Hershey or Tampa?
No,
again?
not Hershey. No, not Hershey, because I have so many shows in Europe as well.
Right.
So I absolutely make sure that I always go to the Tampa show in January, because that fits in my schedule best. And sometimes I fly to several RV companies, like In and Out, just for 2 days.
Yeah.
But the Tampa show, I'm always there because I want to listen to the people that are owning an RV, right? So we have this. I'm going to tell you guys this. I was on the Tampa show, and this this gentleman, he was 86 years old. He came up to me and he had this great idea, and I'm going to use it. We actually, for the new production, we put it in the packaging. So this gentleman said, I had an issue because I didn't understand how to prime the gates. And I went down to he had a Class A, and he went down to the gas tank, and he forgot what he needed to do, and then he needed to go back to find his phone, and then he went up twice to go back into his vehicle, and then, can you please make a little sticker with a QR code that I can stick onto my my door panel, and so I can scan it. 86 years old, so I can scan the QR code and go straight to the frequently asked questions, so to help me out. So I thank you, sir. And this is why I go to these shows, because we are now making a sticker with a QR code. You can stick, it's in the packaging. You can stick onto your tank or onto your door. And if you have any question that how do I do the minor league, you just use the QR code. So thank you to the gentleman. I don't know his name anymore. I forgot because I was so busy at the show, but I'm very thankful for this person that gave me this great advice, and we are going to use it. So that's another reason why I go to these shows.
That's a great way to end your visit. Great story. Great to have you, and we'll see you in Florida. And maybe you must demonstrate, you must exhibit at Caravan Salon, right?
Yeah. So we do.
If we get over there this year, we'll see you there also. Martin, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you, Uncle Bernie. Thank you, Bob.
Nice to see
you. He's fantastic, and it is just a great product. It's not,
I know, you sink your teeth right into that one.
Products that, if people would take the time to talk to the sales rep or read the brochure, I don't think there's an RVer out there who could give you a valid reason why they wouldn't buy that product. It's just the way that it hits you. So we talked earlier, Bernie. Our buddy John is out in Elkhart, Indiana. Now
let's see what he's up to.
We've talked about the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame several times, and they recently, Daryl Sear, who saved that facility. They were bankrupt when Daryl took over and had practically no money. It was the whole history of the RV industry was going to go up in smoke, and they hired Daryl, who was actually the president of UltraFab, one of the big suppliers in our country industry. He took over, and he was a financial genius. He paid down the debt completely. He raised sponsorship money for the new buildings, and the new director, Daryl Milnickel, has been on the job about 4 weeks, and John stopped in to say hello today.
Hey, everybody. We are in Elkhart. We are at ground zero for the RV industry, and all of us that have watched this show every week always talk about Elkhart because we've been out here so many times. And we're with the brand new executive director of the RV Manufactured Housing, the RVMH Hall of Fame, Daryl Milnickel. Daryl, welcome to RVing in New England.
Thank you. I appreciate the warm welcome. This is week 4 on the job, and I'm excited to be here.
Week 4 on the job, and you know what? It's starting to get busy.
It's definitely had its uptick. Any new job, you're going to experience kind of the fire hose syndrome, but it's been great. I'm excited to be a part of it.
So people don't understand that it's more than just a Hall of Fame. I mean, you've got harvest host capabilities here. You've got also hookups, right?
We
here
do.
As well.
So we are unique. We have about 40 acres. We have harvest host, as you mentioned. We have rally sites. We have power hookups. We also have an event center attached to it, along with the manufactured housing side and the RV side of the museum, in addition to our Hall of Fame wall, and it's quite a bit here.
And people can come in and see virtually everything from some of the earliest units to taking a factory tour.
Absolutely.
Right here and seeing the newest units.
Yeah, we have something from every period. So if you're an RV enthusiast, there's definitely something that you've seen before, but things you haven't that you've been wanting to see. We have a May West stage car. We have all kinds of unique items that are one of a kind. So it's a unique place to see special collection.
Great. And tell people where we're located.
We're here in Elkhart, Indiana, right off I-90, the toll road. You can't miss us. Giant green roof, beautiful campus. Come see us.
Giant green roof. Daryl, we know that you've got a lot of work to do with some big events coming up. We want to thank you so much for taking time from your busy schedule to talk to us here on RVing in New England.
Thank you for having me. I'd do it anytime.
And now back to you, Bob and Bernie.
Right on cue. Right on cue.
Yeah, right on cue. Nice job.
Now, I got to ask you, Bernie, have you ever been out to the RV Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame?
No, I'm really looking forward to it, though. I'm going to be going to Elkhart in a couple of weeks to visit one of the manufacturers, and they gotta give me a little extra time. Like they've been keeping me pretty busy, but I'm looking forward to it for sure.
Well, you got to think about RV Game Changer and maybe do an interview with Daryl while you're out there and you could spend a whole day there. The exhibits, and
I'm sure.
they don't have enough room. One of these days they got to find a way to expand, but they've got several collections in the garage, so they try to rotate some stuff around. But there was a gentleman, I think it was David Horowitz, that had a collection that was well over $1 million, and he sold it to the museum. I don't think he gave it to the museum. And then he would go around the country and tell what each of the vehicles are. But RVIA doesn't do that anymore. They don't have anybody to do it. But do you know that one of the vehicles they had in there is what they call 1908 Baker car? And guess what drove the car?
Electricity.
Exactly. 1908.
It's amazing the technology back then that they had.
And we haven't learned a damn thing since then. But I encourage everybody, especially dealers and sales reps, to go out there because it's such a game changer when you're talking to customers and you can explain about the history. A lot of people right now are planning their vacations this year. And if you're going anywhere near Indiana, and it's right off, it's where 80 and 90 are going together in Elkhart. Right. You can see it from the highway. It's a great way to spend it. And if you're in an RV, it is a Harvard host, so you can stay overnight and do it the second day. And it's a beautiful campus now with what they have done. They've built that rally field. They've got the pavilion that's used all the time for the dealer open house. And that's where they have a lot of the dealer open house units for that.
Fantastic. This is going to be a great year for me to travel and see all these wonderful things. And it is great that they were able to resuscitate this museum for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And he also stopped at Grand Design.
Yay.
Spoke with Mike Helms. Mike is the product manager on the motorized division and works for Tommy Hall, who is the general manager. So Mike gave him a tour of the facility, and I don't think he had time to do a video. I haven't seen it, and if he sent it, it's probably sitting in my inbox somewhere. But that's a beautiful looking manufacturing floor. If you've gone to some company, manufacturing was my specialty when I had my imaging company, and whenever I had clients like Boeing or Raytheon, and I made trips to their plants, I would want to see the manufacturing floor because I wanted to understand, and I've done that a lot with the RV industry to see it. And that is, I stood in the engine cowl of a 747 one time, and I looked like this big, and the engine was practically floor to ceiling. So the things that you can see, I don't care whether it's a car manufacturer or a refrigerator manufacturer, just seeing how this country works with manufacturing and the great quality and the great people that do it is well worth the trip.
Well, I went for a trip several years ago to Grand Design, and I had been to several other factories, and they were very unique in a way where they had all the manufacturing booths going around the building. So there's like 27 different stops where the chassis have gone through, and they actually put all the parts and components in the middle, creating a centralized distribution for all those parts. So people didn't have to go outside of the of the work area to go get everything they needed, and it made for a very efficient, fast moving system.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing people almost jogging back and forth, but they were just like Oompa Loompas. They just had this kind of dance, choreography getting all of this done. It was amazing how quick and efficient they were.
Well, I'll tell you, John, when John and I go out for the power breakfast, what we typically do is try to get out there early in the morning of the day before and visit a couple of our friends in the RV industry and tour a facility. And then we would do the show live from Elkhart on a Wednesday night, and breakfast was on Thursday. We'd go to the breakfast, and after the breakfast, because we usually fly into Chicago, we'd stop and see two more manufacturers on the way out. And one year, we saw it was a Lippert facility that made the doors of a toy hauler. And
right.
You thought you were watching an old time movie cartoon that was sped up, whether it was Mickey Mouse and Steamboat or whatever. These people, they never stopped.
They hustle, yeah,
and they hustle, and because part of that process, a lot of the companies out there pay piecemeal, and a lot of the Amish people are farmers, and they go in at 3:30 in the morning, 4:00 in the morning, and they have a set number. So if you have to build 100 windows that day, well, you get to 100. If you get to 100 windows at noontime, you're out of there. And they go back and they do the farm. But it's
right.
great.
You have to get back and do the second milking, right?
Yeah. And I always, when I do my seminars, I always encourage people, do your homework, visit all the dealers. When you get to the point where you've narrowed it down to 2 or 3 units, if possible, take a vacation. And if they are all in the Elkhart area, take a vacation, go out there and take the factory tour of the 3 companies that you think you want to buy a product from. And you will know at the end of those 3 tours, it'll be very clear to you which one. And I don't care who the manufacturers are that you pick or who's on your list. It'll be very clear to you which one you want to buy.
It's night and day difference on some of these manufacturing. And speaking of manufacturing, our representative from Keystone, Kevin Horkey at 748 had a nice comment for John.
Looking forward to seeing John tomorrow at the RV Power Breakfast. But yeah, I'm sure, Kevin, it's really easy. There's only going to be 1,200 people in the room, and I'm sure you can just stand up and look out at that whole mass of bodies that do that. Now, I'll give you a hint, though. If you really want to see him, stick out around the breakfast bar with the bacon and the muffins and what. He'll show up there. He'll
be kind of hovering around that buffet,
And I'm just as guilty. We always took a chair at the back, right by the buffet.
Yeah.
So we could grab extra bacon and what do we have there? So who do we leave off with? Dante.
Before that, we had some other ones too, right around 740 something.
Web address. Look up. Oh, here you go. Walter, the next one.
Oh, yeah.
GasStopUSA.com. And maybe it was the owner smoking. We already covered that one. NRVA. They do the drop pressure. What is that? NRVIA, National RV Inspectors Association. Has RV inspectors do a pressure drop test on your propane system, but you should still use a GasStop.
Yeah, because you never know. Like we were talking before that, a lot of manufacturers have their grill connection and it runs the whole length of the RV and that's exposed. So if you blow a tire or you kick up something from the road, you can cut that line. And unless you have something like a GasStop, that's going to be leaking all the way down the road.
Yeah. And Don says, thank you, Martin, for a fantastic product. It is a fantastic product. We already said Kevin. Yeah.
Yep. Semper Fi.
Semper Fi, Daryl. Yeah. He was a Marine on the other side of the pond, but he was still a Marine. Right, Don?
Yep.
Tony says, pretty terrific. We love it. And even recorded a podcast episode there. Why don't you go ahead and post the link on your visit to the Hall of Fame, Tony, and I'm sure
that'll be great. Yeah, share it with us.
Have that there. we have gone amazingly. We have beaten up 60 Minutes pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Martin was extraordinary as usual, even at 1:30 in the morning for him. So
Right.
he was a real trooper hanging out with us, and it was kind of a last minute kind of request to him, and he was very responsive and very appreciative.
And for our fans out there, when next time you go into a dealership, go check out the propane tanks in that section and see if they have GasStop. And if they don't have GasStop, tell them all about it. But every dealer should be selling these.
Right.
Like if I was a dealer, I'd have them sitting next to this service writer in the service department. And when that person comes in for service, say, "Ma'am or sir, do you have a GasStop on your propane system? If you don't, I'd be glad to explain it to you. It takes 10 minutes to explain it to it, and you add it to the bill." How can they say no when they understand?
Right. I just thought of the perfect marketing tool, right? You put a picture of your daughter or granddaughter on your desk and a GasStop right next to it. So as you're talking about your daughter and they ask you questions about her, then you start bringing up the GasStop and, hey, this is a product, with your family that you should really consider. As a result, you want to keep these family members all beautiful and happy and healthy. There you go. Buy a GasStop.
That is very clever, Uncle Bernie. And with that, we're going to close it out. We're going to take a ride down the road, and we'll see you all next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for filling in tonight, Bernie.
This edition of RVing in New England was a presentation of the New England RV Dealers Association. Thanks for watching, and be sure to like us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram.